Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Love and Action Network podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Flo, and every week we sit down with extraordinary people whose lives remind us that healing is possible, purpose is real, and that ordinary people can create extraordinary impact. Today's guest is someone whose life truly embodies resilience, known to many as the bounce back queen. LaNika Shelly Williams has spent more than 3 decades serving others through advocacy, mentorship, humanitarian work, leadership, and community organizing. She began her community she began serving her community as a child through the Baltimore Urban League and has continued that commitment throughout her entire life, mentoring hundreds of young people, opening her homes to children in need, advocating for underserved communities, and building a legacy rooted in compassion and perseverance. She's also making history alongside her daughter through a groundbreaking city council campaign, which we'll talk about later, while continuing to inspire people to transform pain into purpose. Shelly, welcome to Love and Action Network.
Thank you so much, Flo. I am truly honored to be here. Thank you so much.
It's amazing to see you today. And for those who are meeting you for the first time, who is LaNika Shelly Williams beyond all of the titles?
Well, let's see. I am a survivor. I'm a fighter. First and foremost, I'm a child of God. Before anything else, I am a mom to now 8. that's that's a whole other story, but to now 8. Um, I am somebody who loves people. I love people. I have been blessed to learn, kind of still figure out my purpose. And I just try my best to do that. But I love people, I love animals. I'm not perfect, but I'm me. And all the different parts and pieces of me that I'm not, I like to say I'm not perfect, but I'm purposeful. So that's
Yes. I love it. I love it. People know you as the bounce back queen. Where did that name come from?
well, actually that name came because I moved to South Carolina almost 16 years ago. So since I've been here, I've had a lot go on, from having brain surgeries to taking in children. And yeah, I've had two brain surgeries. I've lost a child. I've had a lot go on. We've been in the middle of the hurricanes, stuff. It's certain things. Life has been life since I've been in South Carolina.
Hmm.
I will tell you that. And a lot of my family is in Baltimore. So I would always joke when they call and I'd be like, y'all, I'm okay. Even if, I might not have been. I'd be like, y'all, I'm okay. Y'all know I'm the bounce back queen. I'm good. Y'all know I'm the bounce back queen. I'm good. I'm good. I got it. And that's just because, ever since my first breath, I've kind of been overcoming things my whole life. So during COVID, after we got evicted for 1 month of rent while I was on quarantine, might I add, and that was the year that I adopted 3 of my children. And when that happened, oh, people was upset, especially my friends and family back home. And I was here and I was like, y'all, I'm okay. I was like, you know what? I'm the bounce back queen. I'm good. Then I got to thinking, wait a minute, I am the bounce back queen. Let me trademark this. Let me trademark this. Let me brand this. Let me walk in because I can't keep saying I'm the bounce back queen and not really be her. So I had to really figure out. It hit me like a light bulb. Wait a minute, girl, you are the bounce back queen. So that's when the whole branding and thing started. But truth be honest, I've been a bounce back queen my whole life.
I believe it. I believe it. And when you hear someone call you that today, what emotions come up for you?
I always, you know what, when somebody calls me anything other than Shelly, even when people call me LaNika, I'm like, guys, call me Shelly. Call me Shelly. But if people have questions, I say, listen, I earned that name. And when people, know my story, I say I earned it. That was not something that I did not earn, and the Lord did not bless me to be able to get through. So I wear it proudly, but just to encourage and inspire others that listen, sometimes you're gonna have a bad hand. But you have to keep walking. What I say, listen, if you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, keep walking because you don't never know how long that tunnel is. My tunnel, your tunnel, everybody's tunnel got different sizes. So if you don't see it, sometimes you ain't get to that point yet. Keep walking. It's there.
Keep walking. I love it. I love it. Speaking of walking, you've been walking for a minute, as the kids say. You started with the Baltimore Urban League when you were only 11 years old. What first awakened your desire to serve people? And can you take us back to that young Shelly? What does she
Sure.
dream about working for the Urban League at 11 years old?
Listen, shout out to my mom. If I don't tell the world that she put me in that program called the Outreach to Outreach program with the Baltimore Urban League, I have to salute my mom for that. My mom, Linda, she put me in that. That was a program that they had for inner city youth, and again, shout out to Park Heights too, because anybody in Baltimore that know Park Heights and Belvedere, that know the Zone 15, yeah, it was rough, especially where I come from back in my day, as the older folks say. Yeah, it was rough. So I was so appreciative, and this is a great example of community because even though we might not have had a lot, I was taken away at some point. I went through a lot, but I had community. The Baltimore Urban League offered me community. It offered us kids things that I probably would have never been exposed to. I got a chance to go to the state building. I got a state award at 12. And the first time that I think it resonated for me was my first big speech I had to do. I had to do a big speech in front of a room full of adults. And like, uh, my husband and people, that was in that group with us, they'll say, "Well, Shelly, you never got a chance to do. Why do they always get you to do stuff that none of the other kids do?" And I'm like, I don't know, but I know now they was prepping me and not even knowing like I was being prepped. That first big talk that I had to do, I had to go to talk to a bunch of adults about making good choices and being kind to people and not treating people with AIDS and HIV bad and not judging them and all them things. And listen, it sounds crazy because I was 11, but I think it was one of those things from the mouth of a child. you know? And so they utilized this child's mouth who wasn't scared to speak, and I just got up there and said what they needed me to say and put my own little, what I call Shelly dust on it. And afterwards, people was coming and they was like shaking my hand and, thank you, thank you. And I was like, okay, well, you did a good job. You did a good job. But this one lady came and she had tears in her eyes. And she said, thank you. She said, can I share something with you? And I was like, yes, ma'am. She said, I have AIDS. She said, and what you did up there, you don't know what you did because you gave me hope that you didn't know you were speaking for me. And she asked, could she give me a hug? And I gave her a hug. And what I felt from hugging her is something that is like, it's like it spoke to me that she don't realize she was helping me, but she said that I was helping her. And I think that that's what stuck to me, that your words are powerful. And then speaking out for others, is the best thing. That is something that you should advocate. You should want to put good into the world. So that is probably the first community based, and we did a lot of feeding the homeless. We went to soup kitchens. Like I had fun. I don't know, some of the kids they were just like, "Oh, we gotta go." But for me, I was like, "Yes, we get to go." I don't know why it's always been fun for me. Listen, they said I've been a weird kid, and now I'm a weird adult, and it's okay.
More
I,
than okay.
I embrace it now. But then I was like, yes, we get to go. So that's how I raised my kids. um, through service. Giving back is very that was therapeutic for me. Service is therapeutic because I didn't grow up easy, and the way that lady made me feel, it took me out of me. It took me out of what I had going on. I wasn't worried about what I had going on. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just truly excited that I could do something for somebody else. So that kind of connected the dots for me, that service and community has been therapeutic for me.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. You talked earlier about Shelly dust. I love the bounce back queen. I love the Shelly dust. If you had, now no one can replicate the Shelly dust. It is one of one. But could you tell us what the ingredients are if you were to make a recipe for the Shelly dust that you sprinkle upon all the things you do, including things we'll talk about later with you winning your election for your local council? What is in that Shelly dust?
If I could think off the top of my head, I would say love and light, laughter and hope, peace and prosperity, and also a scoop about homemade family banana pudding, because that is the bomb. I gotta make you some one day. Listen.
Wait now, wait, wait now. You cut the bananas fresh, and
Yes,
and
I mean homemade. Homemade. Only thing I ain't make is that cookie.
and real Nilla wafers is what you're using, right?
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait to have your banana pudding, child. I know that it would make me want to just. Ah! Ah!
It is one of my
Oh,
things and I need to stay away from it. But it is literally one of my I'm so happy that listen, I tell my kids we might not have had family heirlooms, but you got some family recipes. So
amazing, amazing. We've got some people commenting. One of our donors and sponsors, Kyle, is on the line today, talking about the sharing of your recipe for Shelly dust, and said that you have great ingredients in your Shelly dust. We've also got love coming from YouTube. Fearlessly Phoenixing says, "Good morning, beautiful souls." And Tara Olo Studios in the house offering love to you. So you're in the company of an amazing live audience today, and they're loving everything that you are bringing, Shelly.
thank you so much, guys. I appreciate y'all. I really do wholeheartedly. I don't say that just to say it. I really do appreciate it.
You are so loved and lovable. And your biography talks about turning pain into purpose. And I want to unpack that now in the next segment. What was a chapter of your life that almost broke you?
Um, Most recently, I lost my son. I thought my only at that time my only adopted son, and the first kid I took in here.
Hmm.
That almost took me out. Childhood though, um, being blind. I was blind for a month, and I had just had a kid, and my I love my cousin Mishi. Mishi, I love you. I told her I was going to talk about it in my book. I told her I was going to talk about this, but she was young and she sprayed off in my eyes. She meant to spray it off, but she didn't mean to, blind me. And I laughed at her, tripping, and nobody else. We was all sitting outside. And if I wouldn't have laughed, nobody else would have saw it. So, her being a kid, she was like 10. She just, went and was like, oh, that was the closest thing to her. But she didn't. She clearly didn't mean to do it. She was very remorseful.
This
And
is
then,
this is a cousin of yours.
yes, because we grew up,
Yeah,
my grandma
cousins.
grew up with us.
Yeah, cousins are slick. You just like triggered me because I had a cousin who didn't like me laughing at her as well, and she put red ants from the red clay in the South. You know, the red. She put
Uh-huh.
ants in my cast. I broke my arm as a child,
Oh
and she
my
put ants in my cast. Between my cousin putting ants in my cast, my father being stabbed by his cousin in the hand growing up, and you with this off in the eyes, cousins really, you got to watch a cousin.
You gotta watch it go. But you know what? In the same sense, I wouldn't let nobody play with this cousin.
Exactly. They're our first siblings, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I love my cousins. They are, like my sisters. We grew up in the same house, and just to see all of us survive and thrive and overcome so much. Shout out to my Gramsci. That is when I tell you the definition of strong woman, whew, Gramsci got it hands down. And for us, we might not have had the nurturing part. You get to learn different things and you want to do with your kids, but she sure gave us that discipline. She gave us the work ethic. She gave us the people. She took in us. She didn't have to. She's even taken in some of our friends. She didn't have to. So it's almost like she was, in a way, kind of like my blueprint of giving back despite you might not having it, and still pouring into others and still hustling and just putting on for yourself. So she really was, and still is my blueprint. I still call her for a lot of things. Sometimes I just be like, Mommy, I'm so sorry. How did you do it with all of us? Some days like, but no, but to answer your question, when I was blind, so everything that could have went wrong in your head, it was going wrong. I was like, they're gonna tease my son. His mom is blind. I'm not gonna see my child grow up. I was 15. I had my son at 14, and I was how I am naturally, and just me, just loving people. That is probably one of the darkest, especially as a kid, one of the darkest periods, because I was questioning God. I literally questioned it. I literally like what should be for me? Like you let me go through all this, like then I had a kid. Like what is your deal with me? What did I do to you? I'm so sorry if I did whatever I did that I don't even know what I did. But please, can you just tell me so that I can fix it? Because I can't. I don't want to go through this. And I didn't want to see my friends. I didn't want to see nobody because I was such in a dark place. I mean, literally and figuratively. And my grandma, I had to go to she took me to the emergency room initially, and I had to go to a specialist. So the specialist told me that I needed to keep having like these weekly appointments. So like on my second appointment, I wasn't going to go. Flo, I'm telling you, I'm so thankful. I had an old school grandma that was like, "No, you're going. You're going to get, you're going," because if she didn't push me to go, guess what? I would have, I would have still been blind because on this appointment, I was very agitated. And in my mind, downtown Baltimore, I'm thinking everybody like, look at that little blind girl. Look at it. I'm thinking everybody worried about me. Wasn't nobody worried about me. But in my mind at that time, that's what I thought. So I just didn't want to go through that. And when I went there, I was very mean to the tech girl that, this whatever exercise or whatever they try to get. I'm like, the same thing I saw last week, nothing. She's asking me like, what do you see? I don't see anything, lady. Like I was so mean. And then she was like, okay, I'm gonna take you back in the room with your grandma. I see you're agitated today. So she put me back in there, and this man came in. And the one question I was tired that would send me over the loop was when people say, what happened? I did not want to keep telling people that I got spray off in my eyes and now I'm blind. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. So this man came in and he said, what happened? I was like, sir, I do not want. He was like, no, 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 just tell me. Just tell me. So he puts my head in the little thing and he says, just please just tell me. He's dropping stuff in my eyes. And I'm telling him what happened. And the way that my sight went from clear to blurry to black, it went from black to blurry to clear. Flo, when I tell you I jumped out that chair, I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I was hugging, thank you, thank you, thank you. And my grandma, she was in the room with me. And she was like, oh, thank you, God. She's praying, praying, praying. And I'm shaking his hand. He was like, okay, okay, you're welcome, you're welcome. He leaves out the door. You couldn't even, you couldn't even count it to three. Like one, maybe two, and then in walks the lady. Now, the reason I know it was her because that's true. Your other senses do heighten. So I might not have saw that. This might have been my first time seeing the lady who was my doctor that I saw previously the last week. And she was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "I can see you. I can see you. I can see you." So she's like, "Okay, okay, what happened?" I was like, "The man that was in here, he put some stuff in my eyes and I could see." So she's like, "Well, we don't have any men doctors." So I said, "Well, he had on a white coat. I don't know. Maybe he was a nurse." She took my hand, and this is another feeling I will never ever forget. She took my hand, she looked at me in my eyes and me and my grandma, and she said, "We have no men that work in here at all." So my grandma was to my right, and I looked over to my grandma like, "Mommy, did you see the man? Like, am I cracking up?" And my grandma was like, "Well, somebody came in here and did it." And I'm like, "But you should have saw him." I'm trying to tell her, like, you should have saw, like, you didn't just walk past him. When she said that, I said, "Okay, it's okay, no worries. We thank y'all." We went back to the front. We asked them to take us off of that weekly schedule, and we always say that was my angel. That's the only
Wow.
time I question God, and I will never ever question Him again. So even though I lost my child, I will not question Him. Even through anything that we went through, I will not question Him. That was my one and done of questioning Him. Never again, because in that bed, I was mad. I was talking cold crash trash to the Lord. And I feel so crazy saying that. But I was. I had to keep it a buck. I really was. Like, what's your beef with me? Like he was somebody on the street. Like, you don't talk to God like that. But I did. So he was like, "Okay, I got something for your little hard head tail. You want to see if I'm real? Okay, got something for you." And he sent my angel. And what's crazy is I could tell you the silhouette of that man, but for me to say, like, this is what exactly what his face looked like, I don't I can guess, but I
Mhm.
know, to tell you, like, I can describe him. But she said it's no, he had on a white coat. I thought he was a doctor. And my grandma, who's still alive this day, was sitting in the room with me. And I also have my papers from the ER. Now, the actual specialist is no longer there. They haven't been there. They're gone from the hospital now. It was Mercy Hospital. They're gone down. The hospital's still there, but the practice is no longer there. But I have my paperwork from the ER that says sprayed with off, blood sent to specialists. So, like, yeah, because when people say that, I'm like, well, how can I look right now? How can I see things? Like, explain
Right.
it. Like, I can see. And I know, and that's why I credit God in everything that He blesses me with, because nothing is given, nothing is promised. And I'm just so grateful for everything, the good and the bad.
Amazing. Amazing. When people see your strength and they choose to only see your strength, what part of the story are they missing?
They're missing the part of why I'm so strong. What made me strong, what I had to go through, what lessons I had to go through, the days where I am feeling like, what, Lord, I need you a little extra today. The days where I am crying, the days where I have to take a scream time, where I have to go in my car and drive somewhere and I have to scream to let it out. The days where I have to pray extra, the days where, my anxiety is flared up. They're missing all that. The days that, I really miss my best friend. I really miss my grandmother here. The days I wish that I was adopted. Listen, I still want to be adopted. If somebody would adopt me at my old age and get some grandchildren, listen, they well behaved, I would love. I don't care who they are, black or white, Hispanic. I don't care who they are, but if some good people want to love on a child and want to adopt me, listen, I'm all for it. I would love to be adopted
We'll
right now.
we'll put the number on the screen so that people can call in. And anybody want to adopt Shelly today? We've got a wonderful community advocate, council member seeking adoption. Just phone the number on the line on the screen.
Listen,
Yeah.
that would be so big because it's everything. My life is so unpredictable. So as long as they're okay for a wild ride, listen.
Amazing. If someone listening today feels defeated, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that um, God gives us all three things: gifts and talents, challenges, and a purpose. And you have to overcome those challenges because we all have them. We all have roadblocks. We all have bad hands. We all have things that we have to overcome. That's why you got to keep walking through it. Excel and use your gifts and talents that He blessed you with to be able to give to others, because then that's kind of like putting your money in the bank. That's how you building up your your stock, and figure out your purpose, because then that way those things kind of correlate together. And once you do that, it'll all and just grow. Try to grow spiritually, grow mentally, grow. People always think about the physical growth, but not the others. People rarely talk about the other ones, and those are super important, because the one that you really can't control is how tall you're going to be. I mean, I would not be 5 nothing if it was by choice, so I had no control over that. So I need to put my focus and put your focus in the things that you can control. That's probably what I would tell them, which is things that I commonly tell people, to just try to like, listen, I am living proof. Please, I am living proof. Things are not perfect, but again, they are purposeful.
Something that I love from your story is that you didn't wait for funding, you didn't wait for titles, you didn't wait for permission, you just simply served. And I want to know, um, why do you think that people wait until they feel qualified before helping other people?
I think one, it could be maybe like imposter syndrome, like you don't feel like, you could do it. Or I think also to just being connected with the spirit, because the spirit talks, and the closer you are locked in, you'll be able to hear that, you'll be able to feel that. I always tell people I only do what the Lord tells me to do. I am not, I can't take credit for that. I'm not, nothing special on, that front. I do what He tells me to do. I do not go out looking, but I do know that He put certain things in my face. And who am I to be able to do something and it's put in my face, and I see that somebody needs help and I don't help? Like, I don't know. I'm just not wired that way. It will bother me. Like, so I just think that just something small, it doesn't have to be. I always tell people it doesn't have to be something big as taking in kids. It could be something small. You could see that somebody is short on change in the line. Give them the 50 cents or whatever that they, wherever you got it. It's not that serious. Something simple as holding the door and speaking to somebody. You don't know what you're doing for somebody. One time, this man got me some waters, and he was doing his job. And I seen he had his name tag on. I do like to call people by their names. And I said, "Thank you, Ryan." I said, "Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate you." He put the waters down and he looked at me and he was like, "You know, I've been here 3 years. Nobody's never said thank you." I said, "Well, I thank you and I appreciate you." And I don't know what Ryan had going on, and I didn't ask Ryan what he had going on. But I saw his name was Ryan on his tag, and I was really appreciative that he put the waters in the car. I had just had shoulder surgery, so I couldn't lift him up. So he had, put him in the cart for me. So I was just, really appreciative of him. But it's small things. It doesn't have to be big. It costs you nothing to be nice to just, because you would want somebody to be nice to you. So I just, you know, hope that people can understand that we all have a purpose, and that service is something that the Lord wants us to do. And it's for you, more so for you than it is for the person. You think you're doing something for the other person, but really you're doing it for yourself. And in the whole grand scheme of it, it is for that person in the moment, but really it's just as much for you as it is for them. So never think like, oh, I can't do this, I can't. Like we don't. I've never even allowed my kids to say "can." That's one of the words they could never say. They could not use that word. That was a cuss word in this house. Like, what? You can't. You can say you need help. You can say you got to try again, but you cannot say can't.
Speaking of which, your biography mentions mentoring over 200 young people who we now found are forbidden from saying the word can't. What's the greatest lesson that these young people have taught you?
That I went through everything that I went through because of them, and that I've had kids that I didn't know was my kids. If somebody would have told me almost 16 years ago, girl, you gonna move to South Carolina. First of all, I would be like, child, I'm not moving to nobody South Carolina. I could visit because my family lives there, but I would never live in South Carolina. You couldn't pay me. Um, and that not only would I moving there, but I got kids that I don't know about there too. Like, no, I know the three kids I gave birth to. Like, girl, I had no idea. This was not planned. I would have planned it better. Well, I mean, I couldn't plan it no better than the Lord, but I feel like I would have prepared better than what I did because I just had no idea about any of this, and it really just came like it literally just came some to my doorstep, literally. So it's like I can't turn a child away at my door, literally at my doorstep, y'all. Parents at my doorstep coming. Because one of the issues, though, South Carolina looks at poverty as a crime. So, like when I took my son, my adopted son, and his two of his siblings in, their water was cut off. And something like that. Say you fall into hard times, and here it's not a place like where I'm from. Like Baltimore, where you can have the bus and different things. You got the subway. We don't have any of that here. So, say your water is like the water or your car. Something happens to your car. You need your car. How you gonna get your kids to school? They're gonna be trying to say, other things. So you fix the car, you don't, and your water get cut off. If somebody finds out that your water's off, instead of DSS coming to come help you, they will try to take your kids and put your kids into the system. And as a child that was awarded the state, no, not on my watch, not on my watch.
Mm.
And no, I don't have it, but we figure it out. And I just recently saw that a young man was placed with a family and they ended up killing him. Do you know how I was sick? I'm still sick because that baby could have came to come live with me, and no, we ain't got the space, but he could have came to come live with me, and he could have been loved until whatever the family situation got going on, but not to place him. I'm not saying all foster moms are bad. I'm not saying all social workers are bad. What I'm saying is there's too many bad ones in the bunch for me to be rolling the dice. I'm not going to roll the dice with a child that comes presented to me. No. And right now we don't have a living room, we don't have a dining room, we don't have why because we done made spaces like I need a bigger house. This is what, but I have to do with what I have. I don't have it. I have to do with what I have. I'm not paid. Nobody is giving me anything. I really don't have the time to do the grants. I do have a nonprofit, but I don't if you out here doing it and doing the work, you really don't have the time to do the other stuff. So I wish I had somebody that could, help me get some things in so we could expand. So I could maybe, get a bigger house. I could maybe, do things because nothing is ever planned. I did not plan to just take in another kid. I promise I didn't. But 2 Sundays ago, I got the phone call and he was packed up. And when I say packed up, he was packed up and ready to go. So, after talking to where he was staying at, it's just the best option for him to be here. And
Mm.
his sister, I already adopted his sister. So, I'll tell you this, any of the 15 kids that I've taken in besides one, I knew all of them prior to and was mentoring and loving on them prior to them coming and just had family, something go on and, family decided can they, they best should stay here. All except for one. So, it's kind of just what it is. It goes with the mentorship, I guess. they respond. Everybody needs something different. So, but I'm not out looking for them. I tell you that. I'm, I'm not searching to add to my plate. It's not me.
How do you prevent compassion fatigue?
Oh my gosh. I just try to tune into the spirit. I've had to learn to say no. I've had to learn to have me time. I had to learn to incorporate things for me during the day to set my routine. If it's my gospel playlist that I loves down, um, my meditation, my prayers, making sure that I have a break for me. Sometimes and I still need to watch my wrestling. Listen, I've been watching wrestling since I've been like 2 years old. So I still they know that's my time where it's like, you know what, I need something good to eat and I need to watch my wrestling. Y'all leave me alone.
Who are you rooting for in wrestling these days?
Wow, listen, I love AEW and I still watch WWE. So SummerSlam is this weekend and I'm gonna be so excited. Yes, give me some good food. I'm gonna bust down in the kitchen and I'm gonna sit in this same recliner and I'm gonna watch my wrestling. And that's gonna be my me time. I had to incorporate certain things like that so that I'm tuned out, so that I can take a break from all of that because it's so much on the go. And I get phone calls literally every day from somebody in the community asking for help. That's the reason why I ran.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What conversation happened between you and your daughter that caused you to run for city council with her? Because that's historic. We've talked about this. There may not have been anybody else in your jurisdiction that has run for city council with a daughter. Like, how did that all? You said the people were calling, asking for help. What else was going on that caused this to happen?
So I've been doing a lot of, again, I've been doing the community work for Florence here for the past 15 years. And I say boots on the ground. And I raised my children that way, raised them through service. So they've seen me do stuff. They've been a part of it. And actually, my daughter's made history before with her twin brother in middle school. They were first Black twins to run and be elected, and at their middle school. So this is actually her second time making history with me. But I have done some, political work and helped on campaigns and helped do some public service press conferences, because to me, I still stand on that there's a disconnect between the elected officials and people in office and the community. There's a disconnect, and it should not be, because one, they work for you, you're paying for it. And like, so there's you have the right to voice what you feel and what goes on with things that you pay for. That's like, if I tell you what I want on my burger, or if I even want a burger, I might not even want a burger, so that there's a huge disconnect. And once I saw that nobody, this whole town was going to go unopposed, I was like, in this town, we ain't thriving like that to be going on. No. Mm-mm. And two seats was up. So because I've been exposed to certain things with the Baltimore Urban League, my daughter and I live in the same house. And a lot of people think that we're running for the same seat. Oh no, we're running for two different seats. My seat is at large, and I beat a 12-year incumbent who has a lot of money, attorney, powerful family here. I beat a 12-year incumbent. And my daughter is going to beat, what's he there, 10 years? However long, a long time incumbent too, with again, money, power, what I call the Florence elite. But there's a thing when you do for the community versus doing for yourself. Doing for yourself and yours is all admirable. I'm not taking that from them. But actually doing for the community outside of what you have to do as a city council or what you have to do in your professional capacity, those are the things that sticks and resonate with people, because people know you did that for them. I didn't have, and yet I did for the community. It hindered my children and I in many, many ways, from retaliation and other things, but we still kept giving. We still kept doing. We still kept speaking up. We still kept showing up, and still continue to do so. Because, like I said, without a title or funding or what, we're still going to do, because I can't let certain things come to my face and I not say anything or do anything. So when we noticed that two seats was available and that nobody was challenging them seats, I looked at my daughter and I said, "You want to make some history? You want to run for city? How do you feel about running for city council?" And she was like, "Mommy, let's do it. Let's talk to Gramsci first, because that's the thing. Let's talk to Gramsci." And I went home in March, and I went to talk to my grandma, and she said, "Listen, you have been doing things that you felt like doing and doing to give back." And she told me a story that kind of I forgot about. She said, "I remember when you was like 7 and you said, 'Mommy, I'm gonna change the world.'" And I said, "Girl, you ain't changing the world. What you talking about? Like what?" Girl, and you can't save everybody, Shelly. You want to just try to save everybody you can. And she said, "I was halfway right. I was wrong for telling you that you can't change the world, because you can and you already have." She said, "But I still stand on, you can't save everybody. But if you want to go ahead and run for office, if you and Pineapple," what she called my daughter Pineapple, "if you and Pineapple, I support it. Go ahead and do it, because why not? Y'all been doing a lot of the work anyway." So I said, "Well, Grancy said run. I'll call my daughter." And I went back home and we filed them papers to file and run. And history was made.
What do you hope? I love that story, by the way, and love to both Shelly and Pineapple, which sounds like an amazing uh, documentary. Shelly and Pineapple, I love that. What do you hope that this campaign says to young women who may be watching or listening today?
Be inspired. Do something. Empower yourself. You got the power. You have it. You have it already in you. It don't have to be given to you, because Governor Westmore said something a few weeks ago, and actually on my brain anniversary, on my 8th brain anniversary at an event. He said, "Nobody can take nothing from you that they ain't give you." I said, "What?" I know he talking to me. I know he was talking to me. So be inspired, because you can. Who Nobody gave me anything. Nobody told me I had to. I didn't ask for nobody's permission. You got all the stuff. God already gave you. They say the Lord already gave us everything here in the world that we need. He already gave you everything that you need. You just need to figure out how to utilize the tools that was given. So I want people to get involved. I want people to not just, yes, people need to run for office, but if you know that you don't have the ability to do that, support those running. Get involved. Just making sure that you're registered, making sure that others is registered. You can have voters drive. You can do so many things. It is so many things from the top to the bottom. They are all equally important, but they all have to come together. So just be inspired and empowered, and support those that are on the front lines trying to make it better and make a difference for all of us. Because that's our slogan, campaign, community first, because that's how we live. And it's not, I don't care if you're a Democrat, you're Republican, if you're black or white or who, we don't care, because you don't walk up to people and say, "Hi, how you doing? Are you a Democrat, Republican? Hi, are you an independent?" Hi. Don't nobody walk up and say that. So who cares about any of that? Because at the end of the day, you have to serve everybody. So why not already come for everybody, no matter what it is? I don't want to make it the division. It's everybody. Our seats belong to the community. So my seat, the community already got one seat, because that seat is all ours. Even yours, Flo.
Yes, yes.
It's all ours. And when Daymani wins her election, that will be 2 seats. I can't speak for everybody else seat. Maybe some other seats might belong to the community too, but I can't speak for those. They have to say that. But these 2 seats with me and my running mate, those 2 for sure will belong to the community.
Power to the people. Power to the people. You wear many hats: author, speaker, humanitarian, human rights consultant, mentor, leader. Which of those roles feels the most natural to you?
Um, I think community leader maybe it would be the most natural just because it's just something I don't know, I've just been good at. It's kind of like one of those things was like, how did you figure out you can do that? Who taught you how to do that? It just happened.
Yeah. It's something that's coming from the inside of you. And then how do you define that leadership, that community leadership?
Well, that's another thing that could be wrapped around to some of those other titles could go into that. So whether I'm advocating or being an activist, whether I'm giving back to others, mentoring, all of those kind of shape around that in a sense, in a way. So that's just what's needed. My scope of community leadership has never been just law enforcement, just schools, just youth. It's been homeless. It's been anybody who and serves an injustice of any kind, and if somebody doesn't have their basic needs, that is injustice. So no matter how big or small or where the scope is, people call me. I get called for so many different things. And I mean, if it was just one little thing, and not little but one um area, that would make things a little easier for me. But again, it is a full spectrum of needs and help. So whether somebody doesn't have something to eat, or a kid, or they had a problem with law enforcement, somebody's in cuffs and they have no business being in cuffs. It's I have been called sitting in IEPs and 504 meetings, just making sure that people get IEPs and 504 504 plans. You know, whatever the need is, I get called for it all. I've pretty much seen so much in my time, and I know sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, like what do they want me to do? Like who do they think I am? I'm one little me. But I had to remember to rely on the Lord and just ask him, listen, and I pray, Lord, please let me, get me through this. Lead my steps, because my goodness, what is going what is going on? I really be like, what people got going on? I always say it all the time, like, because I'd be so confused, like, what y'all got going on? Oh my goodness.
What is one leadership myth that you'd like to dismantle?
That people are paid to do everybody to do stuff is paid.
Yeah, they really do think that when you're out here advocating for justice and working on those plans, and they think someone like that you got a gas card or something that's gassing the
Mhm.
car, or
Or I'm
that you're
charging.
a government operative or something like that.
Yeah. Or I'm charging the community. You wouldn't believe how many people that I've sat in meetings, they're clients that I had, and they'll call me and be like, why somebody just called me and asked me how much money I'm paying you, or did I pay you? I said, she don't charge us nothing. She don't charge nobody. I'm telling you, that is one where people have
Hmm.
continuously. Now, it is some advocates that do charge, and that's their business. If that's what they need to do, like, I'm not knocking it. It's just not me. My my purpose is different, and my blessings is going to come different. And I know when the resources do come, they'll come because I did this, and it won't be because I'm dependent upon charging somebody. No, I can't charge you for me to do the Lord's work. I can't do that. That's just me.
And
Not, not
I believe wholeheartedly that when your story gets out, I'm going to be very committed to you in our creative services group to work with you on telling your story and positioning you on other podcasts, other places. I have no doubt that if the people know what you're doing and what you're about, you're going to be supported from the north, south, east, and the west.
okay. And listen, I got a book coming out too. I'm working on my book. My
Go
story.
on, tell us about it.
I am working on my story. It is going to be called Playing the Hand One's Dealt. That's the story of the bounce back queen. So I am working on it, and that's just my story. Some of what we talked about today will be on there, and some things that I didn't share so much it will be yet will be on there. But the purpose of it is not to expose or for anybody to be mad at anything that happened, because I'm grateful for everything that happened. I would do it all again because it's got me to where I am. And I've been put in a position because I went through certain things to my antennas for others are different. And I feel like if things wouldn't have happened, it wouldn't have been, because I might not have, felt it. That I might not have been, um, you know, like I said, in the right frequency and space to be able to receive what was going on. So no, that's just to inspire people that look, sometimes you got a crappy hand, but you better learn how to play with what you got and go from there. You might not have it, and that's okay. But it's gonna be okay. It's going to be okay. It's gonna be just fine, and things will work out. Even when it seems like it don't, you have to have your faith over fear. So that is the purpose of that. That I want people to see that you can be hit from left and right, but you still better keep walking, even if you got the drag. Keep walking, and I also hope that it will give people insight for people to see, yeah, she's a fighter, she's strong, she can be opinionated, she can stand on business. Why am I that way? What got me to be that way? Like I didn't just poof come like this, like yeah, so I just wanted to, that's the purpose of it. And if it can help one person, believe me, I am done. I am done. I want to have it out by my birthday, which is September 18th. So at least have the, my manuscript and all everything done by my birthday. So that's a goal. I always set goals. Tell my kids set goals. We're a goal driven family.
Yes. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Shout out to goals and strong will and determination. Is there an issue in your community or in our communities that keeps you awake at night?
Yes. Conditioning. A lot of us have been conditioned to have a lot of things that we should not be believing in. Like we can't. Things don't matter.
Mm,
You know, that people feelings that you can't have feelings that mean you weak, and that that it's a lot of things that we have been conditioned to believe and to think, and now we have to work through not just getting through life, but work through kind of debunking and reprogramming
mm.
ourselves and others to stop with what was given to us. And I listen, I understand, why it was, but I also see the crack in the system. And I'm not against systems. I'm just against broken systems. So, and that's whether that's generational, whether that's cultural, whether that's political, no matter what it is, I'm not against the system. But the broken ones, oh yeah, I'm against them all day long. And I'm gonna speak on those because, and if somebody's upset and they got a problem with that, that's their problem. That's not mine. I can't take that on. That's not a problem I'm gonna take on.
Where do you see hope?
I see hope in people like you. I
Oh,
see hope in the youth. I see hope in people because oftentimes, people who want to give back and have been beat on, you think like, why, like you think like it's just me, or you think like nobody else thinks like me, nobody else is, why isn't nobody trying, like do they not see what's going on, like what, am I the only one woke, like oh my gosh, you think about these things, but no, it is others like you. And when we are put together, we have to stick together because we are stronger together and we can get stuff done together. So we have to make sure that we just, ride for each other, and like I said, form like Voltron, Megatron, and all the Trons, get them all together. All the Avengers unite.
A symbol indeed. Yes, yes, yes. If you could sit with every elected official in America, such as yourself, what is the one thing before we go into rapid fire? What's the one thing that you'd ask them to remember?
And remember that God first before anything else.
When you say God first, what are you pointing to for people who may be on the outside of that?
People who are outside that, the creator, and even if it's okay, so maybe if it's somebody who maybe don't believe, love. You can get more. What did my father-in-law used to tell me? You can get more bees with the honey than you can with the vinegar. With the vinegar, you ain't gonna get nothing but a bunch of gnats. So I added that last part because I'm like the vinegar bring the gnats. So yeah, if you keep with your vinegar, you gonna get gnats. So let's get the bees so we can have honey and everything's to be better. You might not agree on everything because everybody do have different beliefs, different experiences, and different um, experiences. But we all can collectively know how we want to be treated. You all
Mm-hmm.
know when you're treating somebody bad versus when you're treating somebody good, and you know what you feel like when somebody treats you bad. So when people say, "Oh, well, they don't recognize," they do recognize when it's them. So you can't recognize when it's just you, but you can't recognize when it's nobody else. So no, you lead with love and lead with humanity because we're all humans. People talk. One of the reasons why I got my human rights consultant certification is because we all talk about civil rights a lot. But people hardly ever talk about your human rights, and they be violating them all day long.
All
all
the
day,
time.
all
Ugh,
day long.
ugh. Yeah, yeah. I love that you're a human rights advocate, and I love that you are a champion for love. All right, rapid fire. We're here now. I'm at close to the end of every episode, and I thank you once again for being here. You are just
For having.
amazing. I feel before we go into rapid fire, I knew that you were special from our voice memos on Instagram as I met you as a stranger on the internet through threads and these other spaces. You empower the I can in people like me. You are
Wow.
such an inspiration. It's because I know you exist, I walk taller in the world. I'm more
Oh my.
bold in the world.
Oh my.
I am less afraid. Maybe all my fear isn't gone, but I have less fear inside me because you are present in the world. And I love what you just talked about. You didn't say it this way because I can't. I got flow dust, but I ain't got the Shelly dust. But you talk so powerfully about how now is the time for us as light workers and healers and community advocates and those who love everyone having access to human rights. Now's the time for us to get organized and to come together
Mhm.
and the strength of our numbers as healers. Powerful, powerful, powerful. I'm never letting you go.
Listen,
Uh,
you ain't got to fight nothing by yourself no more because we locked in. You ain't got to fight nothing by yourself no more.
it's amazing. It's amazing to know you. And one word or one sentence only. Uh, we're gonna do rapid fire. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Coffee or tea?
Tea, herbal tea.
I want to ask like what kind of herbal tea now. I'm violating.
Saffron. I've been hooked on saffron tea now. Oh, it's so good with some agave. That's it.
Woo!
Brings the mood up.
This is so good. I'll have to try that. Morning or night?
Night.
Books or podcasts?
Ooh. I'm gonna say podcast only because you get to see the people and you get to see reactions. You get to see, but I do love a good book. And then I could set some. I'm very kind of visual sometimes, so I set the whole scene. It might not have been a scene in the book, but in my head, it's a scene.
Yes.
So oh my gosh, yeah, that one I'm torn on that one. Oh my
Okay.
gosh, on that one.
Your biggest inspiration?
My Gramsci.
Yeah. Love to her. I don't even know her, but the stories that you tell about her and the quality of the human that I hear you express her to be, she's an inspiration to me as well. I thank you for your Gramsci stories today. And she sounds like a person who empowers people. She's an I can and you can person as well. And we
She
got to have
is.
those people in our corner.
Absolutely. And listen, I'm going to be home in a few weeks, so I'm going to video you so you can see her. You're going to see Gramsci.
Please, please. I love that generational wealth of
Yes.
empowerment. That's
Yes.
like a big deal. Everybody doesn't have it. And so to be able to call on it is amazing. My grandma is only hitting me up for funerals and who's in the hospital. Those
Now,
people.
listen, them prayer warriors now, they be on the
That's true.
battlefield.
That
They
is
be
true.
on the
On
battlefield.
the battlefield for the Lord, child. What's your favorite quote?
Um, let's see. Do I have a favorite quote? I don't necessarily have a favorite quote, I'll
That's
say.
fine. That's fine. A lesson that you learned the hard way.
You you cannot save everybody.
Mm. What's something
And
people misunderstand about your strength?
that I am a troublemaker. I just want to fight. I don't want to fight. I really don't want to fight. I'm tired, yo. I really don't want to fight. But I have to. I have to. I don't want to. I would much rather do things in a more like let's mediate. Let's work together way. And I will tell you, 90% of the time, we can do it that way.
Mhm.
But it's that 10% that y'all see on the news.
Exactly. What's one habit that changed your life?
um, saying no, saying no. I
When
had
do
to,
you feel go away?
I had to learn. I had to learn that word through therapy. I had to learn that word.
Shout out to therapy. When do you feel the closest to God?
When I listen to my playlist and I hear that the rhythms and the music, and I just know he's real, it just puts me in a different space. Like, woo! I'm telling you, I'm gonna send you my playlist. I love my playlist down.
Please send it to me. I can't wait to play it on some of my TikTok lives and attribute it to you. Music, frequency magic. All of that is just a wonderful pathway to higher power and being one with the expansion of the universe that I call God as well. It's a wonderful thing. And what gives you hope?
um, Again, people like you, the youth, knowing that I'm not doing this for nothing, knowing that it's all of this is not going to be in vain, and knowing that I'm helping to set the next generation up for them to be able to take over. Listen, I always tease and tell them one day I'm going to sit with my feet up and y'all going to be taking care of me. I'm going to be sitting chilling somewhere. So the quicker I can get that done, the quicker I can be chilling.
Perfect segue to my closing question for you. When people hear your name 10 years from now, what do you hope that they'll remember when you're kicked up in your chair?
That she served, that she loved people, that she was a fighter, that she was her true and purest self at all times, and that when she says she loved you and she appreciates you, she wholeheartedly meant that. And her children is her biggest accomplishment. Everything she did was for them.
What a blessing. What a blessing. Where can everyone follow your journey and support your work?
Well, on Facebook, I am LaNika Shelly Williams, just like my name there. I do have a Bounce Back Queen page, but we're getting that. we're I don't pay that as much attention. I'm going to be honest with y'all. On and you'll be able to see the other campaigns pages on there as well. Instagram is the real Bounce Back Queen, and on TikTok is the Bounce Back Queen.
Amazing. And I can't wait to help people follow your journey and also support your work through what we're doing here in Love and Action Network. So amazing. Shelly, once again, thank you today for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're amazing. And thank you for reminding us that resilience isn't pretending life never hurts. It's about choosing to keep loving, choosing to keep serving, and choosing to keep believing that one person really can make a difference. Your story is a reminder to all of us who've been here today and those who listen later that purpose isn't something that we're handed. It's something that we build every single day through courage, compassion, and our consistency. Thank you for being here. And also thank you to everyone who is watching and listening around the world. I saw y'all out there and we'll continue to watch the numbers. And remember, as always, I say this like Polly wants a cracker 1,000 times a day to people, Shelly. You are loved. You are so lovable. And we'll see you next time on the Love and Action Network podcast. Y'all have a wonderful day.